guys, for being super patient. Aldo and I are right here. And, you know, just a little bit over minutes. And we wanted to get into, you know, what this conversation is about. And, you know, thanks so much for joining me and sharing this story, Aldo, because it's very fucking crazy. It's very interesting. And I think a lot of people are going to get some good insight into how to launch a business, be successful, and stop thinking about things so much, right? So I just want to, you know, let's get started with you. You know, what's your background? And then we'll go into what your business is. Cool?
Cool. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this. As you may all, whoever's watching, it's the first time I do a Facebook Live, so I apologize for the little delay. But all right, so my background. I used to work on a regular 9 to 5. I did computer system engineering type of things, IT. I did that for around 12 years, which is the main thing that I jumped in when I was younger. That's the thing that I knew how to do, and I was like, yeah, let me just jump into this. And I never really had the business mindset. I didn't really ever thought about setting up a business or anything, because the situation that I had at the time, I just had to get a job, right? So I started doing IT. I was really good at it, and then I just started moving throughout the years. And like I said, I did it for around 11 to 12 years. And then after that, I wanted to well, with situations in life, I was like, I should actually just learn new skills and like polish any other skills that I have, or maybe learn new ones that I do not have. And one of them was the sales part. I had no idea about sales. I actually kind of like despised sales a little bit. I was one of those guys that I'm like, hey, you like this cup? You don't like it? All right, fuck off. Like, all right.
Yeah,
Bye.
dude, totally, man. This is how we be.
Because I curse a lot.
Good.
So yeah, I was that type of person. So I wanted to learn the sales type or the sales side of things. And so what I did is I quit my job literally out of nowhere. I was like, I'm done with this 9 to 5. I'm done with the desk job. And I went into general contracting, mainly focusing on roofing. And so that's kind of like the most raw type of sales that you can do, because it's literally out of nowhere. You need to go and knock on doors, literally knock on doors, shoot off several times, and then you need to learn all the aspects of how to talk to people, how to interact and have those conversations. So I loved it. I got really hooked on it. I see it as a challenge and as a great thing too, because I get to meet people every day. From different backgrounds, different ages, different nationalities, different everything. So I've met and had a lot of good relationships with my customers that some of them consider now even kind of like not friends, but they're always like, hey, if you're in the area, you can come by and have a coffee with us or whatever you want. So it's really fulfilling and it's really nice. And then, so I've done that for the past 3-4 years. And yeah, 3 years. And then this whole situation with the metal fabrication thing came about, and I guess that's the one that we're going to speak about in a little bit.
Right, exactly. So you know, it's just, I think, a story that resonates with a lot of people is like, hey, I'm working right now 9 to 5. I am doing this. I have no fucking clue what it is to get into business. Maybe I'm thinking about it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I see a successful friend of mine kind of do it. You know, so there's just a whole bunch of emotions that I think a lot of people can relate to your story in that sense. And at the same time, be able to understand that, you know, it's a trajectory life that most of us sort of experience as well. You know, I'm working for jobs all my life, different things. So I get that. I understand that. And then at one point in time, you sort of decide to take a leap of faith in yourself, and you launch a business. And for most people who are never started a business, like launching a business and profiting the next month is ridiculously almost unheard of. And the statistics of that sort of getting to anything is hard. You know, it takes a lot of people before they pay their debt, before they get all these things, before they get on the positive in order for them to produce some money. So your special circumstance, like it was just, you know, it was a lot of different factors. And I'll talk a little bit about it as we continue. But there are some things that make it on the checklist, and you're going to see how it identifies with some of the markers that makes businesses attractive and be able to be a little bit more successful than the other ones out there. So, you know, you are just going through life, right? This is what the story says. And then all of a sudden, something happens and you decide to launch a business. Talk about the business. What is this metal fabrication thing?
All right. So first of all, before that, I just need to point out that I'm no business expert. I'm not like, I don't have the knowledge that you or some other of my friends have in regards to business and how to create them. I just decided to do it this way. And the reason I want to share my experience is, of course, to talk to you, first of all, but second, because I know that there's many people out there that think this today as we speak, the same way that I used to think before I started this, with the fears and everything. So do you want me to go as back as how I actually ended up having to like go into the metal research and
Yes,
all
that
that?
is super important because I think it's important to understand the process, you know, because you need to do several things. You need to identify the opportunity, identify the research, and this is a process that, you know, could be longer for some people or shorter for them.
All right. So the way I ended up in this situation or in this launching this business was some of y'all may know and some of you might not, but back in January of 2021, I got my catalytic converter stolen from my Tacoma, and it was a really big headache. I had to go through hoops. It took them quite a bit to actually replace it. And during this whole time, I was speaking to the people in the dealership and people in the insurance and this and that, and it seemed like a very prevalent thing that was happening. So I did a little bit of research and I was like, oh, they're actually stealing them more. The theft is going up, this and that. And then I thought about, well, I might as well do something whenever I get my truck back. So I thought about a few solutions. I went to the dealership. I checked for a metal plate or whatever. There was nothing. And that's when it started to kick in a little bit, like, oh, shortages. Because there's shortages of the catalytic converter. There's shortages on the actual items to protect your catalytic converter. There's shortages on many things. So I started seeing the writing on the wall a little bit. And then when I finally got my truck back, I got consumed by my job and my customers' builds and everything that I put getting my cage, or well, actually getting my catalytic converter protected to the side. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take care of it some other time. Mind you, this took 2.5 months to get it replaced. So it was a big headache with not only with the catalytic converter replacement and the part arriving, but the dealership and the rental car and all these extra things that you have, and it's just consuming. It's just time consuming. So long story short, I got my truck back, I procrastinated, and then bam, I get hit again. They steal it again in June. Like, now I need to do something. So again, and a half, another deductible to pay, a lot of money put out for a situation that you can actually take care of. So what I did, it was like, as soon as I get it, I'm gonna go and build something for it. And luckily, I have access to because of the motorcycle riding that I do and all that, from my friend that has a shop and a place where they take care of bikes, a mechanical shop. I met this guy that's a welder. So during the time that my truck was in the dealership, I reached out to him and I told him my situation. I'm like, dude, I need some help. He's like, don't worry about it. Let's take care of it. So I got my truck back, and literally that same day I drove to his house. We went and bought the material, and we started building out of nowhere a cage, a metal cage made out of stainless steel, which, by the way, we did by hand and did the research and development like right there and then as we went. Like, we started drawing, measuring, putting all that stuff together. And so finally we got my cage done after like 14 hours of work. Because like I said, I needed to get my cage, I needed to get my catalytic converter protected that day. I wanted to come back, park it in my parking lot, and then get it stolen again, because these pieces of shit know where you live. And once they'll keep on going and just keep on stealing it. So anyways, as I went just driving around for my other business, which is the roofing thing, I started mentioning it to people and just kind of bringing awareness to people and telling them like, hey, you should check this out. You might want to look into getting this protected, this and that. And every time someone looked at the cage, they were like, Aldo, this is amazing. It's really nice. It's this and that. And started giving me like positive feedback. And I was like, you know what? I've actually been thinking about doing something to help people, which is, I guess, the main idea of how I launched this business. And I'll circle back to, I don't want to say circle back. I hate those words because they're used by certain someone that I really despise. But anyways, I will go back to that part, which is, I think, very important. But anyways, I found the need. I saw my whole trajectory since January of how and the headaches and the hoops and everything that I had to overcome to get this going. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want anyone else to go through this. And this is something that people need to be aware about. And so I started doing my research. I started doing the research on how much the theft went up. Why are they stealing them? What's the purpose behind it? Materials that you can make the cage out of, or the plate, or whatever you actually need. And by no means I mean to say that this is anything new. I didn't do anything revolutionary that came a new idea. No, there's been people doing this for a long time. Cages, I mean, the thing is that we do it differently. We do it with an extra high quality product, not just rebar or whatever. I mean, if you want them out of rebar, we'll make them, but the purpose is to do something that's nice, that's aesthetic, that's high quality, and that also matches with your vehicle. I mean, if you have a 2021 or a 2020, let's say, or whichever date that people see this, the latest model, you don't want to have a piece of crap product underneath your car, right? You want to have something out of quality. So that's pretty much the overview of why and the mindset that I had to launch this business and why I did it. Like I said, just to summarize it, is I saw the need because of my own situation. I found that a lot of people were unaware of this. I saw that a lot of people didn't know how to protect their catalytic converter. And so I was like, I want to help them. And that was the purpose. And yep, I've been doing that for a month now. Yeah. We launched. Yeah.
And this is the most powerful thing of this thing, is that you've been just doing this a month, and like, why is it so important? What is the biggest thing, you know, as far as like, okay, like you just launched a month ago, you know, whatever. But like I repeated it earlier in the story, was to launch a business and profit the next month, like immediately, like that's insane. With no website, no socials, no freaking nothing. Like you're just coming from nothing. It's just an idea. You thought about it in January, right? And a lot of stuff happened until the second time they did it. And then when you really started diving into it, man, this could be actually an idea. It was probably what, a month or two, like in idea mode and research mode, or
well, it was during the second time that they stole it, so I had a lot of time to think about my mistake, which was not getting my catalytic converter beforehand. So it took me a couple of $1,000, a couple $1,000 and a month and a half to research and think about it. And that's when I did my whole research and everything. I mean, like, mind you, like I said, I've always, or not always, but since it happened the first time, I already had the idea of doing something about it, because I saw that nobody was doing anything. I researched, I went left and right, trying to find people to help me. Nobody will help you. People would be like, well, we can do a cage. They would do like a box cage out of rebar. Horrendous. Like it was just there was no real or no actually nice solution for me to go and get. So I was like, well, if nobody's doing it, might as well see if I can do it. And so that's when like you mentioned, I mean, that's when it clicks, and it's like, all right, not only am I providing a solution, but I'm also providing some value to people, which is I'm protecting property that I can guarantee you that maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point you will get hit. I mean, and I love to say that because it's a famous quote that Brandon Moreno from the UFC, which I'm a big fan of the UFC, he said it very clearly on one of his post-fight interviews about the when he was going to become champion. It's not a matter of when or if, it's a matter of when. They're going to get you at some point. These piece of shit have nothing else to do, and as the economy keeps on moving as it's moving, people are losing their jobs, people are losing opportunities, and they resort to stealing stuff to
Yeah,
get
for
their money.
sure. So now, what is really one of the biggest crutches for entrepreneurs or business owners is how the hell do I get that idea to market, and how do I create demand?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you can't create a demand. You can only channel that demand. This is a very important thing. Nobody, as marketers, as advertisers, like, we cannot create a demand for a particular product, you know? So it's about how you channel it. And when you are you're bootstrapping your company, you're the one that's funding all your business, you know, it's your money. So it's not like somebody else's money. And so you're just kind of like, you know, you have a sort of an idea, you want to make it happen. And then it's like, well, I don't have no resources, you know, I don't have X, Y, Z, I have no marketing. So what happened next for you that really helped you take off?
Yeah. So the whole idea was there. I was ready with my friend to put this together. Everything was kind of like moving, but I didn't even know where to start. And that was the main reason, like I mentioned earlier, I've never been a business guy. I don't even know where to start. You and I have had these conversations, and also with another friend in common that we have, about how do you start? What's the first step you take? And I'm pretty sure that that's the fear that a lot of people out there that are interested in creating a business, is the first thing that comes to mind is like, how do I even start? Like, what do I do? And I had that same fear a month ago, so I can relate very well. And so if anything that I say helps you, or I hope it helps you to actually take that first step. But anyways, in my situation was, yeah, we have the solution, we have all these things, we have all these good things to provide, but where do I go to actually start promoting it? So like you mentioned on your Facebook post, the way I did it was a little bit out of the box, or thinking out of the box, or outside of the box. So during the whole time that I did the research, I noticed that a lot of the research that I did was news articles from either newspapers or TV stations or whatever it was. And I was like, that's where I was getting all my information about the spikes on the theft and all that. So I was like, you know what? Actually, that could be a way to do it. And not to get into very much on the why I thought also the why that was gonna be an option, but a friend of mine, she had another situation on her motorcycle, and she got in a little, some weirdo tried to stop her in the middle of the highway. It was weird. So anyways, her video went viral, and the news reached out to her, and they actually did something about it, and they were able to put it out there. So I actually saw that example, and I was like, that's a good idea. Like, right now there's a problem, everybody knows about it, people are putting it out on the news, and I have a solution that I want people to know. So let me see if these people are interested. So what I did is I reached out to the news station, throughout a reporter and then another reporter, and I just told them, I sent them I asked for an email. They were very nice and very gracious enough, and I'm grateful to them to actually open their emails and their door to listen to, even read my story. So I sent them an email, and I told them my situation. I told them the whole thing, all from January and this and that, and what I've been doing. And then I sent them some pictures of what I did, and they loved it. They were like, we need this because nobody else is doing this. We see how bad the situation is getting, and nobody's doing nothing about it. The police is not doing anything about it. And it's not knock on the police, but I mean, catalytic converter theft is right here on their priority list. Bigger fish to fry, you know. There's other more important stuff to take care of, which I understand, but still, this is a very important and how to call it, expensive problem for us as a regular civilian. So somebody needs to do something about it. So anyways, I went ahead, sent them an email, explained my situation, and they were like, we want to meet you. And literally, it was overnight. I sent them the email at like 6 p.m. on let's say on a Tuesday, and like next morning at 8 a.m. they were calling me like, hey, we want to meet you like today because you're going to the news at 3, 4, and 6 p.m. And I was like, what? And so yeah, they came over, they did that little interview, and then it just spread like wildfire. Like a lot of people just like, it was overwhelming, the response that we got. And yeah, that's pretty much the strategy that I just came about doing a little bit of connect. It was pretty much connecting the dots. Okay, so my friend thing went viral. This thing is a problem as well. A lot of people need to know about this. The news stations and the news networks are putting it out there as a big problem, but I don't see nobody doing it or providing a solution or actually promoting a solution. So I was like, well, let me give this a shot, and it worked. Like it worked, and it worked perfectly, and it worked really well. And so far, that's how we've been
So
operating.
you went from 0 to $5,000 in 1 month. Is this correct?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and so
1 month, no website, no advertising spend, no marketing. Like literally just him and the welder and the business idea and going to freaking market.
I don't think my welder.
Your
He's
partner.
he's a fabricator. This dude is not only a welder, he's actually like an artist that knows not only, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in a little bit later, but he not only does cages and welds them, he actually, any idea he puts it on metal. So it's pretty
What's
cool.
up, man? So yeah, like those are the things that is very inspiring about the story. Is just like, you know, there's absolutely no resources. You don't have a big budget to launch this business. And so that's where a lot of these other entrepreneurs or people who are starting a business, this is where they get stuck in. They're like, holy shit, like, you know, digital marketing, Facebook ads, whatever, right? Like there's just so many different options. So it's like, it gets a little cloudy for most people because it's like, there's a lot of information being thrown out at people. And so the thing that you did was to focus, put your focus on you know, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm sure you might have thought like, do I need a website? I'm sure you probably did, but you know, what is the thing that I'm going to launch with right now? You got the response. You're like, okay, then day one, you're in business.
Yeah, business people are coming. And also when you mention like where people get stuck is people get stuck on, and again, I speak from experience because I was in that same spot. People get stuck on when you ask a friend or when you ask a family member or a business colleague or whoever that already has a business going, you ask them how they did it, and then you try and mimic that way into your own business. Sometimes it works. Don't get me wrong. There's cookie cutter stuff that you have to do. There's cookie cutter stuff that works for certain businesses. For my situation in particular, I went a different route and it worked. And that's pretty much the main idea that I want to give to people is, hey, just figure out a weird way to market your stuff based on the necessity of the product that you're selling. Because I guess that's another thing. Like I've had a lot of ideas in the past that necessarily are very good ideas, and maybe if I put them out, they were not as welcoming to people. What I did is, based on a bad situation that happened in my life, I came out and I put out a solution for myself, and then I found out that it was a very good solution for myself, and I want to share it with people and help people and give them a solution for a problem that they have. So I think that's a good angle to see what product you're putting out, whether it's some coaching, fitness coaching, product, a service, or something, that just see how you can promote it in the most out of the ordinary way for people to realize like, oh, he has something or she has something to actually help me in my life. So that's like I said, my way was the news anchor, the news networks, and I was like, they're already promoting the problem for me, let me just give them the solution, and they might actually promote my solution. And little did I know, they actually did. And again, really, really grateful to ABC 13 that they actually took the time and did the interview with me.
No, I mean, you hit it on the nail because they're like, we see that this is a huge problem and you're creating the solution. Holy fucking shit. So just a little bit of example right here. There are two things, you know, when it comes to what you guys got going as far as keys to the vault. You need a market, you need a good offer, and you need ability to persuade people in order for a business to succeed. But what I really want to concentrate in is on the market, because you literally zoomed into the market and understood the pain points, right? And these are four things that in order for any market to sort of work or any business to sort of work, you have is the market in pain. You know, if the market is not in pain, nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to want to jump in. And second, are they able to afford to pay the money? You know what I'm saying? Can this market actually pay for the money? Does it does it matter to them to install something that's going to protect them from $3, $4, $5,000? I don't know, right? So you gotta, those are the things. Can my market actually pay for it? And you easily identify the people. You know, in your situation, you're like, if you have a truck and you have a Toyota 4Runner, you gotta go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's very easy to identify this market. And fourth, and very importantly, is this market growing? And it is because of COVID, because there's more thefts, because there's less police. So this market is going to continue to grow, right? Maybe at one point it might get a little saturated. There might be some other stuff. Maybe you come up with an even better solution, right? Whatever's going to happen, but the market is growing. So you hit it on all those 4 pain points of what it is. And that's why it's important to see it, hear it from you, right? Like, what I did think differently to launch this business. You have the balls to do it. You did your research and you just fucking said, let me go do it. Let me see how I promote this, which is also super important, right? And then just getting the shit done. And right now it's like, you still don't even have a website. You're still getting like a lot of traffic and you're just organically growing it, referrals, you know, more news, people sharing it. So this is going to be incredible once we start, you know, applying more marketing scaling tactics, you know. So it's just, this is part of the process of entrepreneurship and, you know, testing and failing and going through it, going from idea. But, you know, hopefully this story inspires somebody out there to really say, like, dude, like, I don't fucking have the resources. No, you don't. Not everybody does, you know, but if you really want it, you just got to go out and get it.
Yeah, I mean, what the lucky part for us is that we had that push from the news network and had the customers in the door right away. So again, hopefully anyone else that is trying to launch a service, a product, or whatever has a way to get their customers in the door right away. But I do believe that if you have a good product that you're offering, people will resonate to it and will come. And then when they start seeing it, they'll just continue. And like I said, like you mentioned, I mean, I don't have a website. I have the domain. I bought the domain and everything. I have the website built yet. We're working off of Instagram only and literally word of mouth. Now that the news article kept on being repeated several times, but yeah, that's the only marketing that I've done. And honestly, the only reason that I haven't really pushed on any ads or anything is because we are now facing another issue that I'm pretty sure that another entrepreneurs or people that have businesses have encountered, which is the materials. Because again, it all trickles down. It's the same issue. It's just in a different way that it was presented to me. My initial issue is the shortages with the catalytic converters themselves. Time consuming, this and that. And now the shortages on raw materials is also hitting us. So right now I'm holding back a little bit because I don't want customers to come to my door and I cannot provide them the product that I'm, you know, sell. So that's another situation that we're encountering. And I hope that everyone's also, aside from this situation, they start paying attention because there's a lot of shortages of many different products and food and stuff like that out there. So we also need to wake up on that and see. I mean, maybe another opportunity for other people to bring other businesses. You start seeing the shortages, you start seeing the pain, like you mentioned, the pain, if they can pay for it, the need for the solution, and then you can grab that idea. You can actually build your idea from that core or from that nucleus, and then provide a service or a product or a solution for people. And I think that's a good way to start.
Great way to start. So thank you so much for sharing this and, like, you know, being a super cool and different story out there that not many people could even like think about, you know. And so thinking outside the box, launching your business, is there any other factor that, I think we were talking about it earlier, is mentorship, who you were surrounding yourself with, right? Because at that time, my other friend Robbie Logo, he's also an entrepreneurial business owner, Yeah, Beto Punch. So, you know, you were talking to him, you were talking to me, we were hanging out a little bit
Yeah.
more, and you were having, you know, we were having these discussions, and like, you know, I guess in some way, shape, or form, we sort of also helped spread
Mhm.
an awareness.
Yeah, that's a very good point because I cannot stress this enough. And I know that people are like, "Ah, I've heard that X amount of times. I've heard it throughout my life and this and that." I knew this whole, I mean, of course I knew about this since I was very young. You're the product of the people that you surround yourself with. And trust me, I was the product of the people that I surrounded myself with when I was very young. It was not, I mean, I love my friends and everything, but we were doing some dumb stuff. So I understand how it, since that point, I started understanding that part. And it also, I mean, it just, fast forward to now that we've been for a couple of years now, we've been hanging out and talking about businesses and seeing you guys do your businesses and launching new stuff and doing this and that. It kind of started making my own brain go, you know, because again, I'm a 9 to 5er. Well, I used to be a 9 to 5er, uh, and that was the only thing I knew. And I like that. I'm pretty sure that people that are in that 9 to 5 modality is they have that security of your paycheck every 2 weeks and your health insurance taken care of, and you at 5 p.m. you clock out and you're good to go. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. I was making good money. It was comfortable. I was great at what I did. What I was doing in IT, but it was not what I really wanted to do. So getting surrounded by people that actually have done it and the conversations that they have is based on how we can do more. Started getting my brain working, and yeah, I started getting. It's just by just proximity, I guess. You start getting motivated, and you start getting a little nuggets of conversations that you and I have had, um, little nuggets of wisdom and ideas and how to do things that you start like, okay, and it just stays in your brain. And then eventually, whenever you have this idea, like this opportunity that presented itself to me, that's when I was like, okay, time to use all those little nuggets and all those little things and just boom, apply them. And it also helped the fact that I've been doing, I mean, having an IT background helps. Having a sales background with the roofing helps a lot because I'm not that person anymore that I'm like really cutthroat that, oh, you don't want it, F you and get out of here. Like I'm not that person anymore. Now I actually learn how to explain the situation and I can present the product that I'm selling in a way that you realize that, hey, this is a good thing for me to pay attention. So that's the way that it has helped me also do the marketing a little bit to,
Yeah.
yeah, point out the pain point and all that and then the
Yeah, I
solution.
mean, I think it's exactly because, you know, they see your success story, and like the chances of kind of like doing something like that is very slim. But at the same time, it's like, it's not like you just got lucky. It's like a combination of other things that, you know, have been sort of happening or trickling down the road. And then at one point in time, that's where they meet, whether intentionally
Mhm.
or unintentionally. But, you know, it's just, that's just kind of how the mind works: absorb, absorb, and then execute.
Yeah, and also I do need to point out, like, spend the time with your friends. I mean, first of all, if you have friends that know about the subject that you're trying to get into, spend the time and ask them. Like, don't be ashamed or don't be fearful of saying, "Hey, I don't know about this." Like, I don't know. I didn't know about anything about business, or not that I didn't know anything about business. I knew the basics, but I didn't know how to launch mine or how to even start. I have my other strengths. I have other strengths that I know a lot about, but not in this particular. So I've had, like I said, conversations with you of hours of talking. I've had long conversations with our mutual friend Beta Punch, which is another guy that likes to do entrepreneurship and he's successful at it. And speaking to Ryan as well, it's just getting perspectives of how people did things. And for example, both Roberto and Ryan, they both have entrepreneurship experience, but their ways of doing things is completely different. So, like I said, it's very important to sit down and spend the time with your friends or a family member or whoever you have as a nearby resource that you can actually get spend the time, sit down with them, invite them to some lunch or whatever, and start picking their brain a little bit, and then apply it to your own, and then share it too. That's the main purpose. It's gain it, apply it. If it's successful, then share it, because you're trying to help more people. Like my purpose in a way with this is also, I mean, having a conversation with you and putting this out there, but also I hope that it helps people kind of like jumpstart them and be like, hey, if this dude did it, I can do it too. You know, like it doesn't need, I just need to find the way, and then the antennas go up, and then you start looking for the opportunities.
Right. You got to trick that RAS system to looking into what you're looking for. But we'll more into that conversation.
It works the same way as when people see like, oh, I have I bought a car. Let's say my Tacoma. I bought a Tacoma. After I bought it, I started seeing Tacomas everywhere, and I'm like, it's not as. And I mean, not that I thought that it was cool or very unique when I bought it, but still, the point is to point out the fact that you start noticing it more. So those antennas are starting to receive those things. It's the same thing with the opportunities. When you really want to put something out, you start just being more alert for the opportunities and things that come your way.
Receptive, and if you have the balls enough to go out and do it, then that's what it means.
Lose the fear too. Lose the fear to put yourself out there. Who the fuck cares what they think about you, or if you look dumb, or if you look funny, or if you look this? Like, who the fuck cares? Like at this point, trust me. Not that I've cared at any point in my life. People that are gonna see this and know me, they're gonna be like, yeah, Aldo is a guy that never has given a fuck what people think. But for people that are a little bit more introvert, that might be a reason why they don't actually launch themselves. Just put it out there, and if you fail, you failed, and it's a learning experience. As long as you treat it as a learning experience to move forward, I think it's going to be a good thing. For example, if my business, if this one fails, I don't care. It's not that is the end of the world. The important thing is that I already did it, and I already launched it, and I already went through that little initial stage, so I know how to do it. So anything else that I want to put out, if I want to start making mouses or whatever, I mean, not mouses, but anything else, I already know that I don't have the fear anymore. I'm identifying the pain. I'm identifying the price point. I'm identifying all these things, and I just get it, boom, just go. And yeah, so it's the gain from doing it. Again, failure is a teacher too.
100%. You got to use failure in every way, shape, or form to help you accelerate. You know, so thank you so much, Aldo, for showing us your business. Your website is still up and coming, but where can they find you on Instagram?
Yeah, so the website is www.txmetalbenders.com. That's the name of the business, Texas Metal Benders. And right now we have our Instagram. That's where most of the people have been reaching out to me. It's at TX Metal Benders. And you can text me on DMs there. You can put a comment. You can also, my phone is out there for everyone, 281-753-2521. Give me a call and let me know what we can do for you. And also, one thing that I didn't mention is this whole situation with the metal fabrication is not just the cages. The cages is just the item that we, that I pinpoint that it was like we mentioned, the pain point for people. So that's the initial item that we do. But this goes beyond, and in the future, in the near future, actually, the purpose is to actually do metal fabrication of anything. If you have, let's say you do powder coating, you do painting or whatever, you need a structure, a tank or anything, we can build it for you. If you like art, like I was mentioning earlier, Jesse, my fabricator, he's not a very extrovert guy, so he doesn't like to be a lot in video or anything. But at some point, I'm gonna put him out there and present him so people get to know him. This guy is not just a welder; he's a legit artist. Like he does a lot of sculptures and stuff like that with steel, any type of steel. So if you're interested on a sculpture or on a very unique type of like table, desk, chair, whatever you want, we're also doing that. And the only thing that you need to come up with is the idea. Just meet with us, sit down, we'll sketch it, we'll do it, and then we'll put it together for you, and we'll powder coat it. We'll do the whole thing, because we also have access to powder coating, painting, and a bunch of other stuff. So like I said, that's the purpose in the future, to do that. And also I have a bunch of other ideas of developing some other products that people might be interested in. One of them is the one that I'm working with our friend Roberto, which is doing these how can I call them? Disconnect from the matrix type of trailers, I guess. This pre-built trailers that pretty much you unfold and you can do a little small compound. You can just hook them to your vehicle, take off, and just go into the woods or wherever you want to go. If things go weird in the city, just want to disconnect and go camping. I mean, so those little things are coming up. So
disconnect for those fabrications. Call it disconnect.
Exactly. So again, the purpose of this is metal fabrication, metal construction, and designing anything. But the initial product that I launched this business with is the metal cages for the catalytic converters. And I guess this is another little thing that I can offer to people, is that if you have a little product but your vision is way bigger, don't worry. Start with the little product, put it out there, market it, make people come into the door, or make people walk to the door, and then you can offer and be like, hey, I have all this other stuff that I can offer to you, that will do for you. And people, when people come and they see everything, they go like, wow, you do all of this too? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, all right, cool. Yesterday I had a friend of mine, she's like, I want a structure for my living room, and she's like, okay, I'm just gonna come up with something and you'll do it. So that's pretty cool. I hope I can also help people with that and provide solutions. Again, I guess the main point is provide a solution for people and always have the mindset of helping. And I think that's a good way to kickstart anything that you do, providing value. If you don't provide value, people will feel it. But if you provide value, people will also receive it and understand that you're doing it for their benefit.
That's right, man. That's what they care about. They don't care about you. They care about themselves at the end of the day. So it's very important to understand that difference. And when you're trying to sell whatever it is that you got going on. So anyways, guys, Aldo, thank you so much for being with me on this Facebook Live. It was freaking awesome. I'm sure a lot of people had a lot of good insight into this, and it'd be silly of them not to watch and understand or even try to apply what you just learned. But thank you so much, man. You can find him at Instagram at Texas Metal Benders. Send him a DM, give him a follow, give him a thumbs up, give him a like, something, and just follow his story, see where he comes up to. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys for joining. Have a good day.